This was by far one of the worst ganks I had seen in a long time. I ranted about it for several minutes during the stream. It brewed the idea that perhaps this could become a new series akin to the Attention 2 series. Look at this gank and point out everything that went wrong and figure out why the gank was a terrible idea. By all accounts, the approach of Rammus was perfect. He did trip a ward, but the advantage of Rammus is that he can do so and still catch his opponents in a good spot. He even went directly to them instead of trying to loop around, which would have wasted some time if he did. However, this is where all goes wrong. His lane mates were shoved to their tower and were a good distance away from their bottom lane opponents. To add to that, they had no minion wall with them and will have to go through blue team's minions, which will block some of their movement and skill shots. You can see that there is a vast distance between the targets. Rammus and his teammates, hell even Morgana and Varus, have quite some space between them. The Rammus makes a terrible decision to taunt Thresh, and Morgana also essentially wastes her Q. The shot was nice, but they wasted their crowd control on a target that has less kill priority. Morgana even wasted her black shield for seemingly no reason. Here's the kicker. Now that Morgana and Rammus have burned their crowd control, Twitch can pop out and blast away at them. There is no immediate threat to him as Morgana and Rammus have no tools to use against him, and they don't deal considerable amounts of damage to him, nor are they in position to do so anyways. Varus is finally in range, but he shouldn't have even tried at this point. Rammus is badly beaten, and Morgana has nothing to use to help him. Plus, he's a sitting duck with no minions or summoner spells. Thresh grabs him, and blue team kills him. If there ever was a forced gank, this was it. As far as what could have been done to salvage it, nothing much really. I feel that the gank was doomed to fail, but not exactly crash and burn as it did. At worst, the Rammus would have just wasted time. Let's look at it again. I already mentioned that the approach from Rammus was really good. His opponents were pushed, he was able to get a good start, and went past the ward fast enough that the enemy team couldn't react. However, his teammates basically had the worst response ever. He actually did ping to them, but they did not pay attention to his approach. They went to their tower instead of helping the Rammus pincer in the enemy bottom lane. Hell, the Varus even farms a little while the gank rages on. Admittedly, the gank was very weak from the beginning, but even with the perfect approach, a kill was still obtainable. Basically, Rammus had no assistance and little resources to begin with. He should have just left instead of pushing the gank, but instead he kept going and his team paid the price. He had no help, he had bad use of crowd control, no damage, no minion advantage, and no summoner spells to use among any of them. This is a good example of a gank that seems attractive to pull off, but you do not have the means to actually take it. So it is better to just wait instead of trying to force it. Because if you force it, you can have catastrophic effects that will ripple throughout the entire game.